When he calls me, I will answer. I'll be somewhere listening for my name.
The Center for the Arts in Natick, a steamy Saturday night in June. I had been called at the last minute to open for someone described to me as a 92-year-old fiddle player called Bluie. My set went well, and I parked myself near the back door so I could sneak out quietly if Bluie wasn't to my taste. And it was hard to think that he would be. He sang,
When he calls me, I will answer. I'll be somewhere listening for my name.
I'd always been the youngest kid in the class. Formative years, always knowing every grown-up in sight is older than you. Then one day you look around a crowded room and you're the oldest person there. How often anymore did I get a chance to sit with someone 20 years older than I was? That night I got a little taste of heaven. Why do elderly black men have so much dignity? Sometimes I wonder if it's just in this white head that I look at them and imagine all the shit they must have had to take, more even than me. The quiet triumph in their faces, just to make it this far, just survive.
I'll be somewhere listening, somewhere listening, somewhere listening for my name.
I sat and listened to Louie run through standards he had learned in his teens and 20s. Lady Be Good, St. Louis Blues, Chinatown, doing one course in actual Chinese. At least Bluie said it was actual Chinese. I laughed at Patter that was 50 years old when the Smithsonian recorded him. I watched him spin his mandolin. I'm no critic of musicianship, but I know confidence when I see it. Toward the end of his set, it was apparent he was getting tired, but he was having a good time that was so good that it overflowed onto anybody in charisma range.
When I've done my last show, I'll be somewhere listening for my name.
In my poetry, I'd been flirting with darkness, and this darkness had been leaching into my performances. But as I sat on my hard folding chair near the back door of the center, I experienced pure light, and I wondered if I might be looking at myself 20 years down the road, and what a great thing that would be.
I'll be somewhere listening, somewhere listening. I'll be somewhere listening for my name.
And as I listened, I found myself thinking about God. Because like everybody else, sometimes I want to ask, if you're there, why is the world so screwed up? But every so often a Louie experience comes along, and I get an answer. And I thought about my early days of sobriety, one foot in the door and one out, the way that any serious Gemini goes into anything serious. The old-timers told me I'd have to ask for help, but most of the time my help would come from people. But the day would come when I would have to call on God, and I said, no way, and they said, way. Don't you believe in God, they asked. I said, of course I do, I'm Catholic. They asked, do you trust God? I said, not for 1 minute.
When I pray my last prayer, I'll be somewhere listening for my name.
They said my problem wasn't not believing in God. It was that I believed in a stupid God. But what I needed was imagine a God who would help me when I needed help, and pray to that God. And the amazing thing, maybe the real miracle of the whole story, was that I listened to them. I tried it, and it worked.
When my work on earth is over, I'll be somewhere listening for my name.
That was a long, long time ago. We were young and we were improving. A while back I fell down a flight of stairs at work and broke my shoulder. Witnesses said I was lucky I didn't break my neck. They say when you start falling down, the end can't be far off. And I wonder if that offer about God is still open. If I still get to picture God the way I want to. Because I think the time has come to start praying to someone who looks a lot like Louie Bluie.
When I prayed my last prayer and I sung my last song,
Whatever God there is surely old and maybe gets tired. But I think there's one thing the people who talk about God always had right. And that was when they said that God is light. Pure light, like Louie Bluie. No darkness at all. This is the kind of God I need today. A God I can trust for whatever comes next.
I'll be somewhere listening. I'll be somewhere listening. I'll be somewhere listening for my name. I'll be somewhere listening. Somewhere listening. I'll be somewhere listening for my name. Sing it with us, Mom. I'll be somewhere listening. Somewhere listening. I'll be somewhere listening for my name. I'll be somewhere